My parents always claimed they couldn't afford to take me on a family trip, but then I spotted my sister's children lounging in first class. I stayed quiet. A week later, their smiles had vanished. I've always been the overlooked sibling. Never the favored one, never celebrated at family gatherings, just present. My sister, Emily, was the star of the show, the ideal daughter, the devoted spouse, the nurturing mother of two adorable kids, the one my parents always went out of their way for. And me? I was Michael, the dependable one, the one who kept things simple, the one who worked diligently, paid his dues, and regrettably always had spare cash when the family needed a bailout. It began with small requests. "Michael, can you cover the water bill this month?" my mom once asked. "Your dad and I are a bit short. I had just landed my first decent job and I was eager to assist." Then Emily needed a hand too. "Sophie needs dental work and it's so pricey," she'd sighed over the phone. "I wouldn't ask, but I know you're doing okay." And so it continued, helping with utilities, covering sudden car repairs, pitching in for my niece and nephew's school gear. "You're so fortunate, Michael," my mom would say, beaming. "You don't have all these burdens like Emily does." Fortunate, that's what they labeled it. I convinced myself it was okay. It's family, right? Besides, I wasn't hurting financially. No spouse, no children, no major costs. But there was one thing I longed for: travel. I dreamed of it for years, saving up, researching destinations, picturing myself wandering through places I'd only seen in photos. Yet every time I got close, something popped up: a family crisis, an unforeseen bill, a guilt-laden plea. So when I finally booked my dream trip to Greece, paying for it entirely myself, I kept it secret. It was my one act of self-indulgence, or so I thought. At the airport, waiting in the economy line, I felt a mix of anxious excitement and fatigue from the long journey ahead. Then I heard Emily's voice. "No, Sophie, put your bag down. The seats are spacious. You don't need all that." I turned and my heart sank. Emily, my niece and nephew, my parents, all in the priority boarding lane, smiling, carefree, dressed in coordinated vacation outfits. First class. For a moment I thought I was imagining things, my parents who swore they couldn't afford a trip for me. Emily, who always claimed they were scraping by. I took a deep breath. Maybe they'd saved up, maybe it was a fluke. Then I heard my mom chuckle. "I still feel a bit guilty we couldn't bring Michael," she said, shaking her head. "Oh, please," Emily scoffed, "he wouldn't have meshed with us." Laughter. A knot formed in my gut. I gritted my teeth, looking away as the attendant called their group. I didn't utter a word. I just watched them stroll into first class, oblivious that I'd seen it all. In that instant, something shifted inside me. I didn't message them, I didn't call. For the first time, I let the quiet linger. Usually I was the one checking in, asking if they needed anything, ensuring my parents weren't struggling. But this time, nothing, and it felt liberating. My Greece trip was everything I'd hoped for. Strolling through ancient ruins, sipping coffee at quaint tavernas, standing before the Parthenon, knowing I'd earned this myself. I should have been overjoyed, and I was. But at night, on my hotel balcony, watching the city glow, that airport moment replayed in my mind. He wouldn't have meshed with us. The words gnawed at me, stirring something deep. It wasn't just about the money. It was the realization that my family never truly saw me as part of them. They'd mocked me. I wasn't their focus. I wasn't even an afterthought. Back home a week later, the calls began. First, my mom. "Hey, honey, how was your trip?" Her tone was overly bright, forced. "It was amazing," I replied curtly. "Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Listen, your dad and I could use a little help with groceries this month. You know how it is." I let the silence hang. Then I chuckled, a sharp, bitter sound. "Groceries," I echoed, "like the ones you picked up after flying first class?" Silence. Then a nervous laugh. "Michael, it wasn't like that. We had some frequent flyer points and Emily got a deal." "Stop," I interrupted. "Just stop." "Honey, it's not what you think. We'd have brought you if we could. You could have," I snapped. "You just didn't want to." More silence. I could almost hear her scrambling for words. "We didn't think you'd care." I closed my eyes, gripping the phone. "You didn't think I'd care?" I repeated, no apology, no remorse, just a casual confession that they never considered me. That was when I decided. No more covering bills, no more bailing them out. No more being the ignored son who existed to make their lives easier. 2 days later, Emily called. I almost ignored it, but curiosity won. "What do you want, Emily?" I said, skipping pleasantries. "Wow, so now you're too good for your own family." She snapped. I smirked. "First class must have really changed you." "Oh my gosh, Michael, are you seriously upset about that?" "Grow up, I'm growing up," I said. "That's why I'm done supporting you." A pause. Then her go-to tone, soft, sweet, manipulative. "Michael, come on, you know how tough things are for us. You don't have kids, you don't have real expenses. It's different for you." "Is it?" I said. Yet I still paid for Sophie's dance classes last month. Well, yeah, because you always do, she replied like it was expected, like it was my role. Not anymore, I said simply. Another pause. Then she laughed. Oh my gosh, you're serious. Wow, you're so selfish. Click, I hung up. For the first time, I felt unburdened. The silence didn't last. By morning, my phone was flooded with missed calls and texts. First, my mom. Michael, I don't know what's wrong with you, but this isn't okay. We're family. Families support each other. Call me. Then my dad, son, don't be dramatic. You know Emily and the kids need you. Be reasonable. Then Emily. Are you really ignoring mom and dad? Wow, you think you're above us now. I ignored them all. Instead, I brewed coffee, sat on my couch, and savored the quiet I hadn't known in years. It was incredible. But by noon, the guilt trips turned to panic. Another call from my mom. I let it go to voicemail. A minute later, a text. Michael, please, we're in trouble. I rolled my eyes. Another crisis I was meant to fix. Then another text. It's about the house. I sighed, debating whether to respond. But some foolish part of me still cared, so I called. What now? I asked as soon as she answered. She sighed theatrically. Michael, your dad and I didn't want to worry you, but we're behind on the mortgage. I pinched the bridge of my nose. And you're telling me now? We didn't want to burden you, she insisted. But now we need your help. Help, I scoffed. You mean you want me to pay it? Just this month, she hurried to say, to keep us afloat until things stabilize. Funny, I said, leaning back. You could afford first-class seats, but not your mortgage. Silence. Then a sigh. It wasn't like that, Michael. It was exactly like that. I cut her off. You didn't hesitate to splurge on Emily's kids, but when it comes to your son, there's nothing left. That's not fair, she snapped. You don't know what it's like to raise kids, to have real responsibilities. You're right, I said coldly, because I was too busy handling yours. Silence. Then, softer, Michael, we need you. And that was the truth. They needed me not because they loved me, not because they valued me, but because without me their whole system collapsed. I know, I said, but you'll have to manage without me. I hung up. This time I felt no guilt. The aftermath was quiet. No texts, no calls, no sudden pleas. For the first time in years I was free, but I knew it wouldn't last. On the third day, Emily showed up at my door. I heard her knocking before checking my phone. Michael opened the door. I took my time. I wasn't eager to face her. When I finally opened it, she stormed in without waiting. What's wrong with you? She hissed, tossing her bag on my counter. Excuse me? I raised an eyebrow. You know what I mean, she snapped. Mom's a wreck, Dad's panicking, and now I'm stuck dealing with it because you're throwing a fit. You mean you're finally dealing with it, I said, for once. She rolled her eyes. Don't be so dramatic. You know they need help. When was the last time Mom called just to see how I'm doing? I asked. Or Dad asked about my life. The only time my phone rings is when you need something. And I allowed it because I thought that's what families do. But then I saw you all in first class laughing about how I wouldn't fit in. Her face paled. I had her. So no, I continued. This isn't about the trip. It's about me realizing I was never part of this family. I was just your backup plan, and I'm done. Emily's mouth opened, then closed. For once, she had no retort. Finally, she grabbed her bag. Fine, she said stiffly. Do what you want, but don't come begging when you realize you've screwed up. I smiled. Don't worry, I won't. She slammed the door. I braced for the next wave. My parents weren't ones to let go easily. Sure enough, the next day, a text from my dad. Michael, come for dinner Sunday. We need to talk, I laughed. We need to talk meant we need you to do something. I'd fallen for it before, not now. I texted back, I'm busy. A minute later, he called. I answered, curious. What? Michael, he started, trying to sound reasonable. This has gone far enough. You're acting like a child. Am I said, because I think I'm the only one acting like an adult. A pause, then a sigh. Son, you're making this harder than it needs to be. We're family. Families don't abandon each other. Abandon, I said, like you abandoned me at the airport. Silence. That's not fair, he said. We didn't mean anything by it. Maybe not, I said, but you did not mean it either. Silence. Then the shift. Your mom's upset, Michael. She's been crying. She just wants things back to normal. So do I said, but normal means me being your ATM. And I'm done. That's not what this is about. Then why are you calling now, Dad? I cut in. Why not last week, or the week before? Why only when you need money? Silence. Longer this time. Then a sigh. I don't know what you want from us, Michael. Nothing, I said. That's the point. I hung up. The next phase, desperation. Days passed with no contact. Then one evening, a text from Emily. I hope you're happy. Mom and Dad are in trouble because of you. I replied, they'll manage. Emily, no, they won't. They're 2 months behind on their mortgage. The bank's sending notices. But I guess you don't care, me. It didn't matter when you were buying first-class tickets. Emily, let it go. That was one time, me, and it was the one time I saw the truth. She didn't reply. The next morning my mom called. I answered. Michael, she sniffled, we're in trouble, so I've heard. The bank's threatening foreclosure. I waited. I know things have been tense, she said, voice trembling, but we're your parents. Please just help us this once. This once, I echoed, the same line from the first time you asked for money. No, I said. Michael, no, I repeated. You made your choices. Live with them. Silence. Then anger. You're selfish, she snapped. After all we've done for you, this is how you repay us. Done for me? I laughed bitterly. Name one thing you've done for me in the last 5 years that wasn't about money. Nothing. Good luck, Mom, I said and hung up. When their smiles faded, weeks passed. Then I heard Emily had caved. She'd tapped her savings to help our parents, something she'd never done before, not when I was there to cover it. She paid their mortgage, utilities, and some credit card debt. It wasn't going well. A friend told me Emily and her husband were fighting over money. He hadn't known how much my parents leaned on me. Now that Emily was footing the bill, their finances were strained. Their perfect life, crumbling, their carefree smiles, gone. My parents were learning what it meant to struggle without me. And I felt weightless. The silence stretched for weeks. I expected more pleas, but nothing came. They were too busy scrambling, and I was free. My paycheck was mine. I redecorated my place, bought new gadgets, and booked a trip to Thailand, another dream destination. No guilt. No emergencies, just me living for myself. Then the collapse. One night, scrolling online, I saw a post from Emily's friend, a photo of Emily and her husband at dinner looking strained. The caption, "Tough times pass, but strong people endure. Stay strong, Emily." Emily's smile was fake. Her husband looked drained. I checked her profile. No more vacation photos or boastful posts. Just quiet. Curious, I got a message from her friend, Lisa. Lisa, hey, Michael, I probably shouldn't say this, but things are rough for them. I hesitated. Me, why tell me? Lisa, because I know how much you did for them. And now that you've stopped, it's all unraveling. She sent a screenshot from Emily's group chat. Emily, Michael's such a jerk. He's watching us struggle like we deserve it. He doesn't care about anyone but himself. Emily. I had to use my savings to keep Mom and Dad afloat, and they're still sinking. Mark's furious. He says it's their fault for depending on Michael. Emily, if Michael doesn't come back soon, I don't know what we'll do. I laughed. Come back. She still thought I needed them. Then a call from an unknown number. I almost ignored it but answered. Hello, Michael. It was my dad. I froze. What do you want? I asked coldly. He sighed. Son, we need to talk. We don't, I said. Daniel, enough, he said, his tone sharp. You're acting ridiculous. Am I said, or am I just done being used? A pause. You're abandoning your family over a stupid trip, he snapped. It's not about the trip, I said. It's about years of me sacrificing for a family that didn't care. That's not true, he said. We always appreciated you. Then why was I never included? I cut in. Silence. We can fix this, he said. Fix what? I said. The fact that I have boundaries now. That you can't manipulate me anymore. Silence. Then Emily's struggling, Michael. She needs help. I laughed. So now Emily needs me? She's drowning. Mark's talking about selling their house. The kids are confused. Not my problem, I said. Michael, be reasonable. I said. For the first time, I'm being reasonable. Silence. Then coldly, so that's it. You're done. You walked away first, I said. At the airport. Remember? Silence. Fine, he said and hung up. That was the last I heard from him. I expected my mom to try again, but she didn't. Emily stopped texting. A month later, I heard Emily and Mark sold their house and moved to a smaller one. My parents downsized too, forced to let go of their comfortable life. They'd spent years acting superior, like they didn't need me. Now they knew what life without me was like. And I was free, not just from the financial weight, but from them. I didn't owe them my success. I didn't owe them my money. I didn't owe them my forgiveness. So I blocked their numbers, took a deep breath, and never looked back. For the first time, I was living for me, and it felt amazing.